Good
Good
morning. I still haven't gotten a
morning.
haircut. My wonderful barber had to cancel because it was cold. There's no one else except Nick.
Oh, oh.
So luckily, I'm going to put a hat on today because it's so cold, I think.
Luckily, because you wouldn't, you
Luckily.
shouldn't. Otherwise, you should just put a paper bag over your whole face.
Mm.
That's a terrible joke.
That's a great lead
I
in for
was
talking
joking.
about shame.
Yeah, yeah. Is that?
Well, I
Well,
showed you the picture,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's what I. So
yeah.
this one's titled, what is it?
I
It's,
said, don't believe the hype of like the
oh,
narrative.
I said, look how badass we actually
Oh,
were.
right. Yeah. Don't believe. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I send you a picture
I'm gonna
of.
cry now. Yeah.
Cool. I send you a picture. So I get these pictures. I'm not like, just so everyone knows, I'm not spending time diving, going into my pictures. But Apple does this weird thing, like all of a sudden it just like shows a picture of
Mhm.
something. And
Mhm.
so there's this picture of you and I on the wedding rehearsal evening. And I guess
Mhm.
we're kind of like practicing walking.
Mhm.
And I have this like green shirt on and sunglasses, and you have this like pink
Yeah, I was
dress, and you're
pregnant, very
pregnant, and we're
pregnant.
just fucking radiating, and we
Mhm.
look badass.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it,
And when I saw the picture, I was like, "Fucking, we are so badass." I literally had that thought, and I thought, "Oh, I can't text that to Ben. That's weird." And then
why? What do you mean?
I know, I don't know, I don't know. Yeah,
mm,
yeah. And then you said it, and I
I
was
know.
like, "Oh my God, that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking."
And it
I
was
don't know.
hard.
I
I think
just
it was
felt so.
hard to say.
Oh, actually, I know why. I know why
Okay.
I didn't say it.
Cool. Why?
Because that's what I was realizing. Because my narrative of like that time, you
Mm-hmm.
know, was like I just like was lost. What did I say? I said it to you exactly. Oh my God, I
Mm-hmm.
can't remember right now. But it was just like that I was gone. Um, but it was specifically, sorry.
I betrayed myself.
Yes, I betrayed. That's exactly right.
Yeah,
So
I was so
listen,
curious what you meant by that.
that is those words exactly. This is what I really like have been feeling into since we started talking about it here
Mm-hmm.
or like whenever, but we have been talking about it on this podcast. And so my, narrative given like on the other side of it and doing a lot of work and then after like the year
This was 19 years ago, by the way.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Two
so
decades.
yeah. So like for the first year after we split and I was doing like whatever. I was like really in looking back on that. I won't even say that cuz it's like so interesting. Fuck, it's like the way the descriptive words and stuff are they just like in dreams they don't feel right or whatever.
Uh,
It's like so I spent most of my time for a year
mm-hmm.
just sitting in this one room in my apartment,
Mm-hmm.
which is the best apartment I've ever had, whatever, whatever. And I sat in this room, and there was nothing in the room. It was a little sunroom. I sat on the floor
Mm-hmm.
in that room, and like, or laid on the floor in that room in silence. I would go to work, come home. I like did nothing. I was like
Mm-hmm.
so deeply in a process.
This is
Like,
where when you'd moved to Baird
yeah,
Street.
when I
Okay,
moved
so
to
you're
Beard
with
Street.
Wake.
Yeah,
Right, so Wake's there
yeah,
also. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
and like that's the only thing I did, like the only thing I did,
Mm-hmm.
and I never left the house. I wasn't social, nothing. I just was like a mom, and then
Mm-hmm.
working and like doing more dream stuff or whatever. But like, so there wasn't a lot of time actually
Mm-hmm.
to be social beyond that. But anyway, so but when at some point if someone would ask me about that or if I was referring to that, I would just be like, I betrayed myself.
Asking you about
Like
getting
being married,
married.
yeah,
Yeah.
being married and and
Marrying me was betraying yourself.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yep.
yes. Um,
Isn't it great that we can talk about this?
um, and when I saw that picture,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it went against the narrative because
Mm-hmm.
I could see myself there.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
like,
Right.
oh wait, it like fucked with my like wires,
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, oh shit, we were fucking awesome. You know, like they're so I saw that
Yeah,
part that was
yeah.
all that real thing that was also there, you know, in the midst of everything. It's not,
Mm,
so it's just like again, I'm just have been feeling since yesterday like the pain of off and on how whatever that is, like developing the narrative, the words, the
right,
description to refer to something, and it's never that, you know, it's never that simple.
right.
It's just never
What a
that simple.
wonderful, I betrayed myself is so,
Oh
boom. It's so
yeah.
like,
Oh yeah. It's
now I know the truth of what that
yes.
was.
I
I
betrayed
betrayed myself.
myself. You know,
That
yes, it's very
damn Ben Newman.
well, it wasn't even though when I say that I actually don't feel any damn Ben Newman. I
Right.
feel I in fact part of that is I blame myself entirely.
Mm,
Like
mm-hmm.
I blame myself entirely. There's no
Oh.
I did it to myself. Like
Mm,
I you know, no, it was all the blame was on me, and that's also part of what was so stark in
mm-hmm.
realizing that, and realizing I like was just like grinding myself up, you
Mm-hmm.
know, in
Yeah.
just like, well,
Yeah.
if I only had less trauma, if I only blah blah blah, if I only then blah
Mm-hmm.
blah, if
Right.
I then the
Yeah, if you'd
you know.
been the girl.
Right,
If
exactly.
you'd just been the
Yes,
girl and
yes,
stopped being
yes.
so resistant to being
Yeah.
the girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's just yeah, it's really painful. It's like really, really painful.
Yeah.
And what I feel now like our relationship,
Mm,
that picture, you know, I'm like,
that is.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Like I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's just really like it's so painful and so
Mm-hmm.
many things, you know. It's so
Mm-hmm.
interesting, and it's helped me, it has inspired me to not in a huge like analytical way but just hold that kind of a thing in my awareness, because I had another one of those things which still is like moves me to which where I was, it's like okay, it's how for me how I would say it is like how the pathology can look back and frame things for me in a way where I get nothing. It's like, yes, that was all bad.
Mm-hmm.
That it is the absolute throwing the baby out with the bathwater, you know. So,
Mm.
oh my God,
Yeah.
when I was in Georgia building houses, and it was the last time that I stopped eating, like for
Mm-hmm.
real, stopped eating. Um, and it was like a year and a half or something, and I had this, you know, immediate, even as it was happening, like I don't know, no, I don't even know how to talk about it, but there was a moment way after that, like
Mm-hmm.
10 years after that, maybe more, where I was like, and it had to do with my dreams and a dream that I was working.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember the dream, but I remember in working that dream, returning to that dream place and like going back into that feeling, I was like, I had this insane moment. I was in the car, like with my boyfriend at the
Mm-hmm.
time, and I literally thought I was having a psychotic break. Like I was like going back to my dream place in the car,
Mm-hmm.
and I had this like thing happen where I all of a sudden in a flash had this whole other perspective on that time in my life that
Mm-hmm.
I had been
The Georgia
just
time.
yeah, that I
Mm-hmm.
had been calling like the same thing. I betrayed myself. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I lost myself. I was nothing. I the person that everybody knew there was a lie. Nobody ever knew me. All the friends, none of that was real. Like just like this full sweep of this time, and
Mm-hmm.
it completely working that dream completely reframed that time in
Mm-hmm.
my life, and I was like, oh my God, like that wasn't it at all. Like that was
Mm-hmm.
such a sacred time. Like that was so real. Like I just it was insane. Like it was
Yeah.
because I know now, I agree with that revelation. Like it was really amazing, and I actually really was myself. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just I spent so many years like judging myself so harshly for that time and how I was and what a waste it was or whatever, like, and it was so wrong, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So and I just quickly believed it's like the function of the ego and the protectors, I suppose, are, but this doesn't feel like the protectors. That's what's so interesting is
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the thing that the brain does.
Well, it wasn't necessarily your narrative.
Right, right. it was something that came up,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, I
There
hooked.
was like an alternative narrative being offered
Yes,
that,
and I took it.
and
I
you took it,
ran with it. Yeah, I ran with
which
it.
is an interesting thing. It's like that because it's the same thing for me. Like the story of that time, what I was hearing about it was like reinforcing
Yes,
an old narrative,
yes,
but it was like it was making the old narrative true, which was like a lot of
yes.
shame and doubt, and I should be X, Y, or Zing, and I'm not. And
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and how and I'm sure if that I could come up with, I mean, so many more examples of that, for myself,
Mm,
um, since then, and it just, hooks into what we were talking about before, about the narrative thing, and um, that you brought up the last episode or the one before, maybe both,
mm,
or that feels like there is another one that is slightly, that there are many different ones, I guess,
mm.
is because there
Different
are, yeah,
narratives.
like different kind of ways. There's just like we could write a book, and it would
Mm.
be like there could be a diagram that's like
Hmm.
has offshoots,
Right,
like
like here's your life
there's
as this
this,
narrative.
right.
Here's your life as this
Well,
narrative.
and there is, and one of the narratives that
Mm,
is connected to that is for me, I can, my life narrative,
mhm,
and in particular, I don't want to speak for anyone else, but in particular, I um I'm really experiencing so much, like I don't have an interest in my own narrative, and I don't really enjoy talking about like the story of my life in quotes, because I don't, it doesn't really do anything for me. Like
mm.
I think it can be like for a 60-second, in a 60-second way, maybe, helpful or whatever, or but for me, talking about that, I think I've talked about this before in this podcast, because I can feel in my body, like it, not, there's no energy in my body whatsoever, like it, there's no, don't, I just don't relate to it, and it almost doesn't feel real,
What
or
does
my life, like my life story,
your
like,
life?
oh well,
Okay.
I family of four, my
Mm-hmm.
dad owned his own business, you know what I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
it's just like potato foodie huddy duddy, it doesn't have resonance for me
Okay.
anymore. And so I do feel like there's a time when the telling of the story is is no longer helpful, and maybe, you know should be stopped,
I
or,
don't. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, I mean, that's how, I guess, I really feel
I
that
feel
for
something very different, but we may
yeah,
have a different perspective
yeah,
on it.
yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
feel that for me. I don't know how to say it.
So I'll just
Okay.
talk.
Yeah.
For me, it's like when I look at that picture and then I think back about sort of my childhood too, like the narrative that I had was a one of shame, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was thinking recently about like I've never thought of myself as attractive, and
Right.
that's purely a narrative from shame,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it
Mm-hmm.
just is. Like I remember there was a woman who worked at the toy store when you were there and
Mm-hmm.
when you were pregnant, and she's like, that kid is going to be so good looking. And I was like, well, I know Amy's really good looking, but I'm not. Like, I'm not. And I was like, but then, like, but she said I was, so maybe I am.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it was like, that was like just a little drop in this, like, you're unattractive thing. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe that's true, which I now know is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, part of it is like looking back at that picture. I like going back because I can see that truth
Yes.
back
Sure.
then
Yes.
was
Yes.
like
Yes.
I
Yes.
was
Yes.
badass in many
Yes.
ways. The only thing that wasn't badass about me was my frame of reference and my narrative at the time that was telling me I wasn't,
Yeah.
and in ways in which that was being reinforced. Also, and then so then I like think back to me as like a little kid, like I was amazing. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's where I am. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to just. I'm now
Yeah. Yeah.
present
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
healed, and I
Right.
don't want. Like I want to actually feel my because that's part of what the dreams do, right? I'm feeling myself as a little healed kid. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
want to bring that feeling back into the actual experience to like help the resonance of that. Like to me, that's part of the healing,
Yes.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like
And
so if
that's
I'm
not what I meant. Yeah.
right, which is good. I'm glad we're like
Yeah.
talking about it because
Yeah.
it's like I don't want to be like, well, I'm not going to think about my life because
No, yeah,
yeah,
that's totally not what I meant at all.
right,
In
right.
fact, I'm really glad you brought it. I'm like,
Hmm.
whoa, no, um, yeah, I guess I'm speaking about it more in like a horizontal way. Like I just noticed, like for myself, I don't know, maybe it's just me, like, or
Hmm.
I'm having a hard time because this is just all so
Well,
new, so I'm having a hard time.
yeah. So I got a text. I was texting with this guy who I knew in high school, and something about trauma. I think he had actually watched one of our oh shits at the Fairies,
Mm-hmm.
and was like, "It sounds like you're doing great. Like it's really cool to hear all this work you've done and all this." And he's like, but then he said something about like sometimes you just gotta like let it go. Like whatever
Mm-hmm.
happened happened, and you gotta let it go and
Mm-hmm.
move on. Um, and I said, uh, like yes, I think that is a really effective tool for a lot of people. I wasn't able to. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was just so my trauma just what it did to my system was so debilitating that I needed to go back and heal.
Mm-hmm.
And now what I've learned is the more I do go back and feel, the better I feel also,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
going back into me now feels fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
got really triggered into trauma earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
Was it this week or maybe the
Yeah.
week
No, it
before?
was this
It was
week.
this week.
Yeah.
You're like, no, it was this week because he texted me. And it was amazing because instead of like, oh, it's coming up again, I'm beyond this, which is what I would have done in the past. I was like, there's more.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got triggered. I felt this shame attack thing come in, which goes right into this like you're not attractive or whatever
Mm-hmm.
thing. And I was able to instead of I could feel the compression. I could feel the dorsal vagal's dark shame energy just like woo, like the
Mm-hmm.
protectors are like, see,
Mm-hmm.
you're not attractive and you don't want to
Oh.
feel the pain of it. So
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna like shut you down so you don't have to feel the pain of how
Mm-hmm.
like this whole false narrative. You don't have
Mm-hmm.
to feel the pain of how unattractive you are, so we're gonna shut you down. Right? Like it's okay that you're not attractive, like you can just disappear or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to feel that and then feel a lot into these dreams where there's so much going on. Like I'm in the water and I'm bringing this really scary animus into the water with me, and there's this 8-year-old girl on a scooter that's in the water with me, and I just look back at my notes this morning, and Ananobi is like also coming in the water with me,
Mm-hmm.
and I can like see through my hand, and it's like three
Mm-hmm.
dimensional, and like all of that energy is there, and I can because I went through the process of feeling into the trauma and recognizing it and noticing it and giving it space to speak in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like the reassurance then shuts down the
Mm-hmm.
protectors of the shame
Yeah.
because I can feel all this other energy. Like
Mm-hmm.
I hear you that
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't badass, but I'm in the water with the animus, the
Mm-hmm.
girl, and the dog,
Mm-hmm.
with a three-dimensional hand,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the other man who I think is a bully, and then I realize isn't at all. He's
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's part of deepening that is also like if I what I've learned is if I allow to let the shadow trauma pathology just kind of open, the energy sort of takes care of itself, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so for me it's
Mm-hmm.
great to like go back and look at that picture and be like, for one thing, it's like helpful for me to understand what was going on for me in terms of our relationship,
Mm-hmm.
which was I was projecting that I was a badass because you saw me as
Mm-hmm.
one,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which of
Mm-hmm.
course is the fucking setup,
Mm-hmm.
right? I was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I finally wooed Amy. She like wasn't
Mm-hmm.
into me, but I like
Mm-hmm.
became badass enough for
Mm-hmm.
her to all of a sudden flip it, and there was that
Mm-hmm.
whole like she doth protest too
Mm-hmm.
much thing, and I didn't really know what was going on, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really trust it, but I didn't know. But what I also know now, which is really painful, is that I didn't know what it felt like to be loved at all. So
Mm-hmm.
our relationship was like all narrative,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was attraction for sure. Like I
Mm-hmm.
remember when you were at when I first saw you, you were at the Bosch. I was like, wow, she's really
Mhm.
cute and really deep. And I even remember saying to my therapist, like, I never get to get girls like that. As
Mm.
if, my projection onto you at that time was
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
that's the me that I want to be gets a girl like that. What if
Mhm.
had
Yeah.
nothing to do with
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
feeling. It had
Yeah. Yeah.
nothing to
Yeah.
do with
Yeah.
feeling. Like, yes, I found you really attractive and you were like exuberant, which was
Mhm.
helpful because I was so terrified.
Mhm.
And then I remember also like I kind of was like, okay, now I'm this person because Amy's likes me. And I
Mm.
remember the first time I went away to a training. Like I had to go away to a training. I don't know if you remember this, but it was like in New York or something for work, and I completely got hit with trauma
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I completely got hit with. I was like, "What the fuck's going on?
Like, who am I or
Who
what?
am I? Like, why is I pushed this away because I'm married to Amy or I'm
Mhm.
getting married, I'm having a
Mhm.
baby.
Mhm.
Like, this can't be happening
Mhm.
again."
Mhm.
But it was so. Looking back, I really can see how I was like my connection with you was so like holding on like
Mm.
that. Without that, then I just am going into my trauma's getting activated
Mhm.
just because I wasn't in your presence.
Mhm.
I had to
Mhm.
spend time by myself, which at the
Mhm.
time was horrifying, and I'm still
Mhm.
having dreams of like time by myself feeling utterly desolate and alone and all
Mhm.
that. And so yeah, I mean, so it's amazing because underneath that, I think you and I have this connection where it's like
Mhm.
we fucking see each other and
Mhm.
it's like we're
Mhm.
badass.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
but I also didn't know. I mean, one of the things that feels painful is like I didn't know what love felt like at all. I didn't get to feel that until I felt the devastation
Mhm.
of 10, 15, 12, 14 years later of like really not being loved by my dad. And then all of
Mhm.
a sudden the
Mhm.
love I
Mhm.
know what it feels like. And it wasn't even like I felt like, oh, that was the love that Amy had. Like I felt all the love of all these friends that I've had for so long
Mhm.
just like fill into me. Like,
Mhm.
these guys who I've known since like elementary school and
Mhm.
middle school. It's like that's the love. And now more and more now it's like I just feel this like kind of giddy joy loved being loved that is also like now transferring over to like my desire and attraction in a way where I'm not
Mhm.
feeling shame around my desire, not feeling
Mhm.
shame around my attractiveness. And I'm like, and it's not like my ego's like, yes, now you're adequately badass. And so you will get the girl.
Uh-huh.
It's more like, here I am and let's see what happens
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
part of it,
Mhm.
And so I've been working really hard to like, because that narrative of not being attractive, it just really, it kind of wants to stay there in some way that is still protecting me, I guess.
Mhm. Mhm.
And part of it being overweight kind of can reinforce that.
Mhm.
But I'm
Mhm.
also feeling something that is so profoundly separate from that,
Mhm.
which is like the core of that badass thing is from this like just place of joy and connectedness with the archetypes and then like all these other folks who I'm like coming into
Mhm.
contact
Mhm.
with. So it's like the paradox of like now I feel love and I'm not in love,
Mhm.
but I feel it. And
Mhm.
before it was like where, like, oh, I'm in
Mhm.
love, so I feel love,
Mhm. Right. Right.
right?
Right.
Like, oh,
Right.
Amy likes me, so I feel love, or maybe
Right.
this is love, or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, oh, she doesn't like me, so I don't get love,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
now it's like it's just
Yeah.
such a flip,
Yeah.
right? And so now I'm like, I look at that guy, that 35-year-old guy in that cool blue shirt, and I had some really funky pants on that I think you had gotten me with these aviator sunglasses
Mhm.
on, and I was just like, that guy was fucking
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just sucks. Like it sucks. The narratives suck. They really do.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say, well, you get to learn from them because I have, but I also know the devastation and decimation of what it does to all of us, like all of our
Right.
psyches. Like it
Right.
really
Right.
is fucking awful
Right. And our
because we
yes.
believe that thing.
Mhm.
Like we just, and we don't even know that it's true. That's one of the thing I said about like the narrative is unconscious and it's a silent killer.
Mhm.
like I have a client who just recently was able to had a dream where he had done this kind of awful thing in the dream, but didn't feel bad about it because it was an
Mhm.
accident. And he was like, I can't imagine not feeling like I'm going to be in trouble.
Mhm.
Like he was like, holy shit, like
Mhm.
that, like we've reached the deepest point of trauma. That's like the baseline of his experience right
Mhm.
now. So for
Mhm.
him, that deepest point of trauma is the way his body responded at some point and then kept responding that he's going to be in trouble.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
how he has lived his life. Like
Mhm.
no matter what he's doing, he's trying to do his best, partially from this place of avoiding being in trouble.
Mhm.
And so now we've isolated this moment of like, I'm not in trouble.
Mhm.
Like what the
Mhm.
fuck? That
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
obliterates
Yeah.
his entire narrative that he didn't even know was a narrative
Mhm.
because it was a feeling that he wasn't
Mhm.
even that
Mhm.
conscious of.
Mhm.
And the dream was like, no, you can do this thing that's kind of, if people were looking at it, would be like, what the fuck, dude? But you did it totally by accident in
Yeah.
the dream, and so you're
Yeah.
not feeling
Yeah. Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
What liberation
Yeah.
it is that you get to make a mistake that everyone would have judged and
Mhm.
said, are you really sure you didn't do it on purpose? But
Mhm.
in the dream, he knows he didn't.
Mhm.
And he's like, I can't, it was so
Mhm.
striking. He's like, I can't
Ugh.
imagine feeling this way. I'm like,
Ugh.
you may not be able to feel it now.
Mhm.
It's in the dream. You may not
Mhm.
be, but I promise, because I know from my own experience, that's sort of what's going to start to be able
Mhm.
to be
Right.
felt.
Right.
But we have
Right.
to watch now the narrative that comes up. So when I hear that old place in me that's like, oh yeah, you're not really attractive. Oh, you're desiring this woman who's out of your league, or at some point they're gonna kind of put you in the friend zone. Like all this
Mhm.
stuff for me
Mhm.
that is like so that old adolescent shame,
Mhm.
which is so rooted in the depth of shame of my father
Mhm.
and mom too. But for him, around sensuality and sexuality was like I just learned like you know
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
like yeah, okay, well I guess I just have to be an unattractive guy who doesn't get laid or something, like
Mhm.
so that
Mhm.
old thing. Not that that's what's important, but it's like that
Mhm.
was like the truth,
Mhm.
and it still wants to come up as the truth, and that's what
Mhm.
was so like devastating for me earlier in the week because
Yeah.
it felt really true. Here I kind of put myself out there a little
Mhm.
bit, and I was just kind of like laughed at, and
Mhm.
like that was like the 12 or 13-year-old boy being teased about
Mhm.
being dirty or
Mhm.
not,
Mhm. Mhm.
whatever. And it's like,
Mhm.
oh, I was like, that's, wow, that's just not, it's just not, it's
Mhm.
not that I'm saying I am better than that or that's not true. It's like I can just feel the truth of it and how hardened it is in terms of it being a narrative, and also just like the other energy that isn't even important
Mhm.
in some
Mhm.
way
Mhm.
anymore. And it's, so.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, another part of this, the offshoot thing is like, is projection, because that is what projection is.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what we're just, it's like, so it happened, it's then happening in outer relationships, all day, all the time
They're
with
meeting our
people.
like
They're,
they're
yeah,
meeting our narratives because we're projecting our narratives onto them.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. And also creating new ones.
Right.
Like something happens and then it's all unexpected because that's the truth of life. And and then it's like, so something can happen and be like, "Oh,"
Yeah.
and then it's like that person, the mind just fills
Mm-hmm.
things in, and is like
Yeah.
all that stuff. So and the thing that is so remarkable is that we believe it. Like it
Mm-hmm.
happens and we believe it. We
Mm-hmm.
don't question it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it gets in and
Yeah.
then it becomes. And that's why in dreams show this too,
Yeah.
or this is part of dreams, and actually how the beauty of how the dreams use this, which
Mm-hmm.
is like the question of in session, like what is your association, like what do
Right.
you what's your, oh, so like what are your feelings about Elvis Presley?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, he was dirty, or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like you didn't know Elvis or whatever. You were in the going through the checkout line of that particular person at the co-op, like what are
Mm-hmm.
they to you? Well, they're every time we go through, they're always blah blah, it's like it
Mm-hmm.
just shows, it's like shows the complete absurdity,
It
you know.
reinforces your experience of being with them in a way
Yeah.
that unlocks what's really going on
Mhm.
here.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so great.
yeah.
And it's also just like also a bummer that this is happening all the time, because it
It's a
just shows how much we're not really able
huge bummer.
to
Yeah,
do what you're saying, which is like, I'm just here and gonna see what happens. It's
right.
like that
Because I'm able to
curiosity. And
feel the other thing
yeah.
based on my dream experience, right?
Mhm.
There's also that. There's like the dreams hold this context for this container. Like, so for me, it's like when I'm starting to go into this thing, part of why it isn't so oppressive, because I'm also really able to turn into this other energy of being in the water
Mm.
with the man, the dog, and the girl.
Mhm.
Like I can contrast that now too. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
that's a piece of it. Because if we don't have the other I mean, that's part of what makes the work really hard, I think, in terms of healing in general, not just with dream work. It's like
Mhm.
that's the nature of the shadow, is that we have to see it before
Yeah.
there's
Yeah. Yeah.
necessarily
Yeah.
enough energy or an antidote to help us not feel it,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know. Um, and that can be really tough. I have one client who's like, he doesn't have really any archetypal stuff. There's a little bit, but most of it is pretty fucking harsh.
Mhm.
And he doesn't really want to feel it. I
Mhm.
understand.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so, but I've also
Yeah.
learned not to be like, well, you got to feel it and you're
Yeah.
feeling
Right.
resistance. It's like,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to, you can touch into this. That's
Mhm.
all.
Mhm. Right.
And that the remarkable thing one of the remarkable things I learned in that internal family systems work training of just recognizing that resistance is protection
Mm.
and giving it that space
Mm.
is
Mhm.
so fucking cool.
Mhm.
Because otherwise, it's like this thing that has to get broken through,
Yeah.
which I don't see how that really
Mhm.
works. It
Mhm.
doesn't work for
Mhm.
me.
Yeah. It doesn't, right. It's just it's like what's that? The spiritual bypassing. You know, it's
Mm,
like that. It really is like, for me, that's what it encourages, is like pretend,
right.
like
Or it's even like the
pushing.
lack of spirit. It's like whatever the antithesis of spiritual bypassing is, because it's like you're not gonna get this,
Hmm.
right? Like it's not gonna happen.
Well, it's like I meant in terms of like, okay, feel this
Well, like that the
feeling.
resistance, like to fight through resistance,
Hmm.
and then you don't, it doesn't
Right.
fucking work.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like the
yeah. Right,
opposite of,
right, right,
well, this work
right,
doesn't work because I'm still feeling
right,
this, like I
right, right,
tried, but I'm too
right.
resistant.
Yeah,
I'm too resistant, so I
yeah.
guess I just can't heal, right?
Mm-hmm.
It really can
Uh,
reinforce that
yeah.
energy, which is something that I've had to deal with, ways in which, like, I felt like my shame was reinforced and I was being
Mm-hmm.
resistant, and that was my
Mm-hmm.
fault
Mm-hmm.
or
Yes.
something, like
Yeah.
whatever I projected my shame narrative onto it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When in fact I was just this tender little boy who hadn't been supported.
Mm-hmm.
And so of course I felt that way. Of
Mm-hmm.
course I wasn't able to feel my fear because
Mm.
fucking A, it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like I am.
phew.
Yeah, it's like I'm just feeling pain right now, I guess, um, because I feel, as you were talking, and you were talking about your difficult time that one day last
Mm-hmm.
week, and and it was cool to like be with you in that and to just give that space. And
Mm-hmm.
then all of a sudden it was like, it was like you had given it space, and it was like and I could just feel, as you were talking, like this voice came in that was like, you're not trying to compare me and you, and like
Mm-hmm.
inner work, and like you're like you like I have had this thing that's been like, this voice, this protector, for sure, that's saying like, um you suck because you can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have this interconnection, and you like, what the fuck is your problem? Like,
Mm-hmm.
why is it so
Why can't
hard?
you just choose
Like,
the
why
interconnection?
is it so hard?
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with you? Like, and it's um and I can feel how, like, I'm still in that. Like
It's so great that you notice that
you
it's
know, like I
there.
still,
Yeah.
but you know, like I'm just like, and because I think it feels like I feel the part of me that is my dream place, um, which is like this ability to really speak this deep truth, and with like absolute conviction isn't quite the word, but like with just like because of how true it is in my heart, and my I have no doubt about that. I have confidence, like complete confidence in sharing it. And it's like it's also very deep and very intimate, like just in general speaking from that place. So I can feel that place that
Mm-hmm.
can, and then when I get into in particular one situation
Mm-hmm.
in in my life where I
In
like
my life.
where I need to, where it would be really, I really do need to speak my truth. It's
Mm-hmm.
really really hurting me. It
Mm-hmm.
is truly hurting me to not do it. And it
Mm-hmm.
is like I'm it's taken me a while. Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it in the tiniest increments, and
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, anyway, like I just can feel like how I'm judging myself for that. Like what
Mm-hmm.
um
Like
and
it's not enough to be doing it in the
yeah,
tiny
like in the
increments.
dream I was like, whoa, you know,
Right.
and like said
Yeah.
all the things, like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I yeah, and it's just it's really painful. And it's painful in how much it's like hurting me. It's like feels like this inner, that's not true either. See, it's like so funny. God, it's like they're all around here, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's like I can just feel the hurt. I can feel how true it is that I need to speak, and
Mm-hmm.
I can feel that it is really not, as each day passes, it is kind of blah and blah. It's like
Mm-hmm.
more blah. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, I'm just going to say, so I'm these aren't the great words, but like I can feel how it's like hurting me more and more each day that I
Mm-hmm.
don't, you know, speak.
Mm-hmm.
And and that's not exactly right, or that can be similar to like the, you know, I betrayed myself. It's
Mm-hmm.
connected. It's the
Right.
same fucking thing, really.
Right.
All of it is
I
like,
continue to
yeah,
betray
yes,
myself.
exactly. I'm continually betrayed. Here I go again, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just feel pain, like that I'm it's hard for me to have gentleness
Mm-hmm.
around it for myself. And I don't enjoy the unhappiness.
Mm-hmm.
um and yeah, so it's just it's interestingly difficult, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm.
I also feel like interested, because I feel like now that we've been, you know, now that we've been talking this morning, and um I think there's more here than I was aware of, or something. Like
Mm.
there's, you know, this knot that, or this tangle, or this bind, it feels like is, it's interesting. Like I think there's a lot about it that I don't understand, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And that's helpful for some reason that I
Mm-hmm.
can't explain. Like
Mm-hmm.
it helps me to feel that, to feel that don't
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know, and I don't need to know, and I can still speak as best I can,
Mm-hmm.
you know, through it, and however it is, like bits,
Mm-hmm.
um, or not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's like a relief every time, you know,
Yeah.
like there, and that I'm not, that nothing bad happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Because I guess it's just scary.
Yeah.
Like that's everything. It's really scary, and I forget how scary it is. You know,
Yeah.
and it's scary in some places and not in other places, you know.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
like,
I mean, the wound is the fucking wound is the wound. I mean, it's like It traumatized us for a reason.
Yeah.
It activated all this defense and protections for a really good reason.
Yeah.
It's really scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's trying to do things again.
He's trying to help you feel better, I think. It's like, how do I get Amy to feel better? You know, everything's actually cool.
Doggies are helpful.
That was a yummy tear.
That was a good. He's licking his lips.
It's like, ooh, that was
Oops.
salty. That was releasing something. There was lots of that. That was a particularly tasty one. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Come to Drew's work. It's really magic. It's so fucking cool. So cool. All right.
Okay, until the next time.
We will see you next weekend. Bye.
Bye.